What's happening, people? What's up? What's happening? Welcome to another episode of the Meathead on the Mic podcast, a live stream recording. Hope you guys and girls are enjoying your fucking Tuesday today. All right. I'm enjoying my day today. I'm chilling. I'm acting. I'm relaxing. I'm gonna wait for you guys and girls to join so that we can get, this house full and we can have some meaningful discourse going on. Because today's topic is kind of like it depends on where you stand, but it's really going to be a hit or miss when it comes to like offending you slightly. Like you might get offended if you're a snowflake. If you are a regular human being, then this podcast episode will actually make you laugh and reflect on what's kind of going on in modern day society with words and with conceptions of people and stuff like that, right? So just to break it down, today we're going to be talking about fat phobia. We're going to be talking about muscle phobia, as ironic as that fucking sounds. Yeah. Just to compare and contrast some of the nonsensical ideas and just fucking weird ass perspectives that people carry nowadays in this snowflake fucking society. All right. So when you join, let me know how your day is going. I want to see who the fuck is here. I want to talk to you guys. Dice, what's good? Fabio, what's good? David, what's up? Yuvraj, Mr. J, Jag, what's happening? Kirby, what's up? Nav, Henry, Tay, what's happening? Brandon, you know what I'm saying? People, stick around. Today is going to be, I'm going to be, again, laying it out. I'm going to be letting you guys and girls know the weird, stupid perspective that comes with like fat phobia and the snowflake society, and what exactly I'm going to be doing to sort of dismantle that, right? Because it's weird. People are going to get called out on or canceled or all this other fucking nonsense for simply observing what they see with their own eyes. And nowadays, that's a fucking sin to tell it like it is, to see what's going on and to tell people as you see it. That's a fucking sin nowadays. All right, so we're going to be breaking it down. I might get canceled, but I quite frankly don't give a fuck because I want to speak the truth, and I don't really care, honestly. Like I don't, I'm gonna say what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Put it that way, right? Like it's not that important. Your feelings don't fucking matter in the real world, right? Only you manage that. Fisherman, what's good? Dondre Homer, what's good? All right, so people, let me know how your fucking day is going. Like you just showed up into the live stream, and you're just sitting there. Fucking talk. Are you weird? We're going to be breaking it down. We're going to be talking about fat phobia. We're going to be talking about muscle phobia today. And I want your guys and girls' input as I go along. If you are new to the recording of the Meathead on the Mic podcast, what I want to let you know is that as I go along and as I'm sort of going through the podcast, I won't be responding to any questions or answering anything. But at the end of it, I will be answering everything. And, going through the comments that you guys and girls will be dropping on the live streams, respectively, on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. All right. So if you are in here today, just say hey, just say what's up, or you're a pussy. I'm just joking. Anyway, let's break it down. Hold on, let me just get this charger here for this one on Facebook because it's fucking weird. Anyway, we're gonna be breaking it down. I'm going to be essentially dropping the live stream in five, or the podcast in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Yo, what's good, meatheads? Hope you're having an amazing day. Welcome to another episode of the Meathead on the Mic podcast. It's your host, IFBB Pro Matt Butale, coming at you with another topic. And today we will be talking about fat phobia and obesity, and more ironically, muscle phobia. All right. So before we dive in, I want to let you know that you are welcome to join the Meathead Monsters Club. It's a free Facebook community where you get the opportunity to meet others like yourself, other meatheads like yourself. All right. So don't forget to screenshot and share this podcast out to your IG story to show support. It would really do a lot for me. Also, guys and girls, if you wish to reach out to me, see more content, or support me on a deeper level, you can subscribe to me on YouTube, or you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or TikTok. All right. So I'm just going to lay that out there. All right. If you're watching this on YouTube, on the live stream or the recording, fucking subscribe. Okay. We are going to chat a little bit about fat phobia today, or at least people that moan and whine, when a doctor or like a professional or common observer identifies that person as obese, as overweight, and doing so for medical reasons or for professional reasons, nothing really to do with, essentially their feelings. Okay. So we're going to break this down. I want you to know, I want you people listening to know, anybody that's tuning in to today's episode, I want you to be very clear with this. I want you to understand this. Okay. Being obese isn't exclusive to fat people. I'm gonna rerun that again. Being obese isn't technically exclusive to fat people. Okay. When we look at obesity and what it really is, it's simply like just look at your body, right? Your height, your weight, those two, how they contrast. That's pretty much what obesity is all about. How much weight you should have for your height, okay, and your age too, respectively, so on and so forth. But these metrics are all put in place to sort of guesstimate where you would be at the healthiest in terms of like the healthiest range of, just living, right? Like you know you're eating enough, you know you're not under eating, you know, everything works the way it should. Simple things aren't difficult, like walking upstairs or just going on walks or like, tying your shoes. Like you're a functional human being, right? But when you're obese, all of those simple things become difficult and you have similar symptoms with other people that are obese. And as I said at the beginning, okay, as I said at the beginning, you don't have to be obese with fat to be obese, okay? And we're going to dive into that right now. Having muscle makes you healthier because let's say it keeps you closer to an anabolic state and is better for protein synthesis and allows for your body to burn more calories than it otherwise would have if you were just not training, if you were not physically active, if your basal metabolic rate was low or lower because you are in less of an anabolic state, let's say, right? Having muscle strengthens your joints and helps you function at your best, not just in the gym, but I mean like just walking, doing anything. You know what I'm saying? Right? And also, let's keep it a stack. Having muscle looks really fucking cool and can help with your confidence and self-esteem. But did you know, people, guys, girls, whatever you fucking identify as, that you can also be obese with muscle? Yeah, it's a real thing. What are you talking about? Obese with muscle? Yeah, and I might call you musclephobic. I'm just joking, but I'm gonna flip the script and flip the coin on how musclephobic and fatphobic is used, and then you'll see like my POV, the perspective that I'm coming from with this. Okay, so having muscle and being obese, what the fuck is that? Well, let's put it this way: too much of anything is bad for you, including muscle. Why? Well, muscle is a tissue, just as fat is a tissue. Yes, muscle may be more dense and it's more calorically expensive, and it allows you to burn more calories with less effort. It keeps you closer to a healthier, you know, functioning body. But if you have too much of it, you will actually notice that some of the similar, we'll say, the similar experiences or similar symptoms that other people, okay, that are obese with fat can resonate with, like, having a heart strain, okay, heart attacks or bad arteries because of the plaque that's in them, sleep apnea, okay? Like there's so many things that go down the line of just being obese, right? And being obese, let's just step out of the realm of looking at it like it's just fat. Like you can only be obese with fat. No. Obesity, in my perspective, is having more tissue on your body than is necessary, like an excess amount of tissue, whether it's fat, whether it's muscle. Yes, you're better off having muscle on your physique in excess, but it's still fucking dangerous. Maybe not just as dangerous, but it's dangerous. Okay. And why is that? Well, because of the strain on your heart that is required to pump blood through the entire muscle, just to have it, just to hold it on your body. Say, let's compare two people. They're both 300 pounds. One is a fucking bodybuilder, and the other, okay, the other is just somebody that's, overeaten for a couple of years, for a couple of decades, and they're 300 pounds and they're fat. Okay. Now, these two people, I'm sure, if anything, the one that's muscle bound is likely to be a bit more healthy. But I say a bit more healthy and not a lot more healthy because they still will have some of the symptoms that the other person that has a lot of fat on their body may have. As I mentioned, sleep apnea, bad arteries, like having a lots of plaque in their arteries, uh, just difficulty doing simple shit, going up the stairs, tying their shoes, vertigo, all those things, symptoms that typically obese people have. You can also have, so traditionally obese people have. We can also have the same thing with muscle bound obese people. We can say, okay, it's real. It's just the amount of tissue on your body and the limit for the amount of tissue on your body that you're allowed to have or that you should have that would keep you in a safe, a healthy zone where your heart can function properly, where your lungs can function optimally, where your digestive system is running the way it should. and you're as healthy as you could possibly be. Nobody that's overweight is healthy. And that includes bodybuilders, especially bodybuilders. And that's mainly due to the required PED usage for them, okay, to get to that level. Because let's face it, you cannot accidentally put on 300 pounds of muscle. And even those that are at the top of the game when it comes to bodybuilding aren't 300 pounds of muscle in their off season, but they're maybe 5'5" and like 260 pounds, or maybe they're 5'2" and 265 pounds. The fact of the matter is they're carrying too much fucking mass tissue, whether it's muscle or fat, tissue on their body, and that's causing a strain on their body. Okay? In conjunction with the PEDs that they're using to maintain and if not accelerate what they've got going on with their physique, right? So too much of anything is bad for you, including muscle, which is why you can also be obese with muscle. Like think of BMI, right? Your basal, your BMI. It's just I'm going to keep it simple. I'm not going to give you any science words here. BMI is it's basically an index to show how obese or not you are. Okay, and I personally, I think mine is still between 28 and 29. I think over 25 is overweight, and over 30 is obese. When I'm deep in my off season, I'm overweight. Like I'm when I'm deep in my off season and it's like a 30, I'm actually obese, right? And no, I don't carry a bunch of fat. You look at me, I look like a unit. I'm built of muscle. Matter of fact, I'm actually natural, right? So how is that the same as someone that's got a bunch of fat on their body? Like how is that even like identical? Well, I'll notice that as I get deeper into my off season and as I get a little bit heavier, the simple things become a little bit more difficult in the same fashion as I mentioned before, where the fat person or the traditionally obese person would have difficulty going up the stairs, difficulty tying their shoes, difficulty doing everything that is basic, that is simple human function. Those things become slightly more difficult for me, right? And no, it's not to a point where it's like debilitating or like I'm stuck, but I can definitely see it, right? And I've definitely got some buddies that, are taking steroids and that do put on a lot of muscle tissue. And when they do get to that point of the peak of their bulk, they have trouble getting quality sleep. They wake up and they're tired, and we're like, why? Why is that? What's happening here? And what's really happening is the fact that they're going through sleep apnea. And if you don't know what sleep apnea is, guys and girls, it's essentially when think of like holding your breath while you're asleep. Okay. Like you're inhaling and exhaling, and the gap in between your inhale and exhale is super prolonged. You're unconscious, and it's like this is. I'm just gonna try to act it out. So you're exhaling, and you inhale, and then it's quiet for like a cool minute. Like if you notice somebody snoring and they stop snoring, and it's like they died in their sleep, and then they snore, and it's like aggressive, and they're trying to like breathe again, and they're fighting it, and they're unconscious in their sleep. That's sleep apnea, and that restricts the amount of oxygen that goes into your brain, into your blood as you sleep. And sleep is the most important. That's when we do our healing and recovering. And if that happens to you enough, you could die. You could suffocate in your sleep. You could, because of the lack of oxygen, which is why you'll have super obese people, traditionally obese people, the fat folks, sleeping with CPAP machines or just moving around with oxygen in their nose because they cannot take in that much oxygen, awake or not. Sleep apnea affects them around the clock, or apnea, we'll say. Okay. And for big, huge bodybuilders, it's the same thing. It is the same thing. And somebody here on TikTok, shout out to Dream of Maya, says, you know, once she says she had sleep apnea when she was pregnant, and she gained some extra weight. Maybe that's why. Well, she gained extra weight, and that's why she likely had sleep apnea. Not just because of the baby, but because of the body fat increase that happens naturally when you're pregnant, right? So that's actually a great observation. Thanks for sharing that, Maya. But that's what it is, guys and girls. Having an excess amount of tissue on your body, regardless of it being muscle or fat, is going to dictate if you're obese or if you're not. So if that's the case, why do we hear about fat phobic this, fat phobic that? We never hear muscle phobic this, muscle phobic that. It's that apologetic mindset of people accepting bad things in fucking society. And yes, I'm calling them bad things. There's some things that are good, some things that are bad. And not everything is good, but people will make it out to be. And I've noticed something that, in society, and I'm not sure if you've noticed this as well, wherever you fucking live, you may have experienced this on a certain level, but Everyone's a snowflake. And I'm not saying that just to be mean. I'm saying it because it's true. You cannot tell people what you see anymore. It's like a fucking, it's actually a hate crime now in Canada here to say something as it is. And I'm not even going to say specifically what it is because they might just literally rip me off the live right now. But if you know, I'm not going to say the bill, but if you know of Jordan Peterson and things of that sort, you can look into that hate speech in Canada. You'll find out, right? But that's its own realm, but still in the same pool of bullshit that we see with this fat phobia shit, and it's annoying. It's weird. It's not even really annoying. It's more weird than it is annoying. Like, since when did it become wrong to call shit out as it was? Like, imagine being a professional. Imagine being a doctor. Imagine being like a coach, and you're like, hey, you've come to me because you need help because you're obese, and the person goes, well, I'm not really obese. I just want to like get a little bit healthier. And you calling me fat is really shaming me. And this is no, it's a medical observation. I'm telling you what I see. Matter of fact, I might not even look at you. I might look at the records of your blood work. I might look at, any other statistic that it came from your body that was recorded based off of your height, based off of your weight, based off of those numbers. As a professional, I could come up with the conclusion that you are obese or that you are unhealthy or that you are healthy or that, like, does that make me prejudiced to go off what I see, to go off of facts, to go off of biology, to go off of science? Does that make me a bigot? It certainly doesn't when the person has cancer, but it absolutely does if the person's fat. Go figure, right? Cancer phobia. Let's go. Anyway, so it's ironic, eh? To be obese with muscle. I mean, just to hear it for the first time, if you haven't, it sounds fucking weird. And I thought about it, and I'm like, this is actually an abstract idea. I thought about this yesterday on yesterday's podcast. And I'm like, no, I've got to talk about this today so that people can get the perspective of what the fuck obesity is anyway. It's not just a shit ton of fat. Okay, it's a shit ton of tissue in general, muscle or fat. And that's going to compromise your body's ability to function properly based off of your requirements and your limits for the amount of tissue that you can carry, whether it's muscle or fat. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? The oversensitivity these days drives me nuts. It drives me crazy. Okay. Does that make sense? It's a matter of fact. The definition of obese means grossly fat or overweight. Again, grossly fat or overweight. Yes, traditionally, obese people have been identified as grossly fat, but it also says or overweight. What is the or overweight part even related to? Well, it means being overweight, regardless of if you have muscle or fat. Okay, technically, I'm overweight because my BMI is about 29, 28, 29. And to have a BMI of 30 plus is obese. To have a BMI of 25 plus is overweight. So technically, I am overweight, but I won't catch any of the stigma because I'm overweight with muscle. Actually, I scratched that. I won't catch the traditional stigma from the fat people. The fat people get, oh, you're fat, you're gross, you're disgusting, and so on. And that I side with you on that. Like, no one should be fucking roasting you for that. Do you know what I mean? Like, if they're telling you, oh, you should lose weight or you should be healthier, that's one thing. But if they're like, you're fucking ugly, you look like shit, and all this and that, then that's okay. Come on, like, let's not be dense here. That's bullying, right? But most people aren't trying to bully you. They want you to do better. And for me, they may not bully me if I'm overweight because motherfuckers won't even know. They're just like, this guy's jacked. But they're like, hey, he's jacked. He must be stupid. He's jacked. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing or he doesn't know anything. You know what I mean? Like the stigma or the social connotation that comes with being muscular is that you are a quote unquote meathead. Shout out to the Meathead on the Mic podcast. Shameless plug. But that's the thing here, guys and girls. Everyone's going to come with their stigmas and throw them at you. And I'll tell you, or you can tell me, do I sound like an idiot to you? Do I sound like somebody that doesn't know, I mean, be a meathead, but do I sound like somebody that's like incompetent or that is an idiot because I have muscles? No. The same way a fat person isn't useless and disgusting for being fat. But you can suggest to the fat person, hey, you might live a little longer if you do something about this. And even the bodybuilder, hey, you might live a little longer if you do something about this. If you downsize, if the bodybuilder decides to become natural now and not take any PEDs and not put their life at risk to put on extra tissue so that, their heart is going to have more strain and that they're going to be less healthy over time and live a shorter life. right? These are conversations that we should be able to have, objective conversations based off of what we fucking see when we're observing. Nothing's subjective. Everything is objective. The truth is objective, not subjective. The truth is not your truth or my truth. It's the truth. I don't think you're fat. You don't think, I'm fucking muscular. It's I am muscular and you're fat. Of course, if that's the case. So I just really wanted to break that down to you guys and girls. 90% of bodybuilders are technically overweight or obese, but we have muscle, so you don't look at it that way. It's a different perspective. 300 pounds of muscle looks very different from 300 pounds of fat. But the fact is that there's 300 pounds of tissue that is going to put strain on your body. For every height requirement, for every age, for every physical activity level, there's a certain amount of tissue or weight, mass that you're allowed to carry before it starts to become dangerous. And you have to get things in check here. Technically, what I'm carrying on my body is dangerous. But as I said, being muscle bound and obese and being fat bound and obese are different. But they're the same, but they're different, if that makes sense. Like, I'm likely going to have less problems if I was 300 pounds with muscle, simply because to become 300 pounds of fat, you'd have to eat all that much, right? And yes, you would as a bodybuilder, but the food selection is likely going to be better. Hence why you have a lot more muscle tissue on you. You're doing cardio, which means your heart might be a little bit better than the 300 pounder of fat. So, yes, it will have a similar strain on your body. But no, it's not inherently healthier to be, fat with muscle or fat with or obese with fat. Okay. And that's simply because you're likely to bring yourself towards a lot more diseases because of the food choices and the lack of physical activity. That's like the main thing that separates the two, being obese with muscle and being obese with fat. That one is actually exercising and doing something that is, say, productive towards eliminating further risks. You're not eating a whole bunch of like, chemicals and shit that come from processed foods all the time. And you are doing something to make your heart work a little bit so that, you can at least function a little bit better, cardiovascular activity. Whereas the fat person doesn't do that. Their cardiovascular activity is going up and down the stairs, which is not good, right? Guys and girls, just to wrap it up, I don't want to hear anything about fat phobia. Like, that word pisses me off. It's honestly, being obese, being fat is just a medical statement. Okay? As I said, I'm overweight and I've got muscle on me. I'm overweight and most of my tissue is muscle. Okay? It's just what it is. I'm still overweight. The word overweight it's not a crime. The word obese is not a crime. Okay? I understand that there's shame tied to it, but that's not all what it is. It's not what all this is about. If you have people in your life that care about you, if you surround yourself with professionals or you actually give a fuck about yourself, then you would take the word at face value and stop tying your emotions with it. If you're fat, it's because if they're being mean, they're being mean, and you'll know that. But if you're fat and it's true, and someone's like, hey, like, it's your husband, it's your wife, it's somebody, your family member, they want you to live fucking longer, it's not because they dislike you that they're calling you fat. They literally want you to do something about it. This is an observation. I'm not calling you a feeling. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? You can be clinically obese with muscle or fat, as I've said a million times. Does that make them identify as a muscle phobe when you tell me I've too much muscle? Like, are you muscle phobic? Hey, you're obese with muscle. Oh, you're muscle phobic for that. What the fuck does that even mean? Fat phobic. Silly people. Anyway, we're done with snowflakes. All right. That's all I wanted to say today. That's all I wanted to talk about today. Okay. That's all I wanted to get off of my chest. And I'm so glad that it's off. Thank you so much for your precious time and attention today. Guys and girls, if you are interested in no longer being obese, you can hit me up if you want to lose 25 pounds and become a part of the Natural Nomad Academy and join the Meathead locker room community. All right. Feel free to DM me and I'll see if it'll be a good fit. I will not be monetizing this podcast with ads because I respect your time and I just want you to get the value straightforward. All right. We're here to talk open mic. All right. Don't forget to screenshot and share this podcast to your IG story to show support. It would do me numbers. It would help so much. Let's embrace your inner meathead together. All right. It's been nice chatting. Hope you like what today's topic was about. Natural IF Baby Pro Matt Butale signing out. Boom. Cool. Podcast is recorded. People, I'm gonna be reading some of the comments that I've got here on TikTok because you guys were actually like in the house today. You guys typically aren't, but it's this is going good. Dream of Maya followed. What's up? I appreciate the follow, homegirl. Felix, what's good? Crimson Heart, hey. He says, hey, my brother, how you been? I've been all right, man. I've been all right. We're here now. We're rolling. I wasn't going live for I think 60 days because I was banned on Instagram. I decided just to fold everything all together until I was able to go again for another season. So here we are. Good morning to you too. Are you teaching a class? Something like that. So what I do is Monday to Friday, I'll host a live stream and a podcast. You can actually check out the podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcast. It's called the Meathead on the Mic podcast, and I essentially just cover topics regarding health, fitness, and offer advice that I use for my best clients and myself as a professional bodybuilder to help people lose weight. Honestly, just a way, an outlet for me to give information to people that either can't afford a coach or just like are learning and getting their feet wet when it comes to fitness and getting their fitness journey catapulted and started. All right, so you can check that out if you like, or you can just continue tuning into the live streams. I appreciate the follow though, Maya. Homie says, work for now says, yep, the body needs balance. Absolutely. I agree. Um, work for now says the oversensitivity these days drives me nuts. Yes, it gives me a headache. And they also say, um, that much muscle puts a strain on the body. Absolutely. Any tissue that you have that's, I would say, and it's objective. It depends on how tall you are, how old you are, and so many other factors. Those are going to like sort of dictate the amount of tissue that you can carry in your body and still be relatively healthy. It varies per person. You know what I mean? But mostly everybody's overweight. Most people are overweight. And the people that are like of weight or underweight, slightly even, we would look at them as actually skinny, right? That's how weird it is in contrast when you look at BMIs, right? But that's just the way it is, right? And yes, even weight alone isn't going to make you healthy or not healthy alone, but it's a pretty big variable there, right? Like you could still be, you know, the weight you're supposed to be and unhealthy for other reasons. Maybe you've got a disease, maybe it's cancer, knock on wood, something of the sort, right? So I'm just telling you objectively, like on the outer layer of things, what the difference is between being fat and having a lot of muscle and how they're not very different, which is why you'll have bodybuilders, dying at quite a young age. Yes, there's a PED abuse sort of pandemic going on or epidemic going on, but most of these guys have been dying due to the amount of tissue and strain that they've had on their body over years and years and years and years of the PD abuse, of eating large quantities of food. And, a lot of these guys have lots of plaque in their arteries and horrible blood work and stuff like that. And they look jacked. On the outside, you think they're like the specimen. They're like the role model of health because they're bodybuilders. And I'm telling you, no, it's not always that way. It's actually less that way than anything else. And Omari Charles from YouTube, salute to you too, bro. I see you there. Thanks for tuning in on YouTube. And yes, if you want to, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, MATT space BUTALE, Matt Butale. If you want to see some of my extra content, not just live streams like this, but actually record in the gym and kind of a dickhead. I'm a meathead in real life, actually. So I'm not a dickhead. I actually like just have fun and stuff. I'm a young dude. Let's see. Anais is where you from? So I'm from Canada, born and raised Canada. Um, Eternal Norencia, if I'm not butchering that, just became my number one top viewer. I appreciate you. Thank you for the 28 roses. Much love, much love, much love. And the 7 finger hearts, much love. Yellowknife Outdoors on YouTube. Weird. Anyway, Dream of Maya, appreciate you. All right, let's see what we've got here on Instagram. And Facebook crapped out a while ago. My phone died on that. So I guess those people just have to tune in to Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube there. All right, we don't have many questions. Tyler, what's good? Shout out to everybody that joined. Noor, CK, Bob's related. Hey, what's up? What's up? That DeLorean is in the house. Yeah, Tyler, what's good? Be fit. Sebastian, Akash, Rich, what's up? Martin, Taza, hey. Terrell, what's happening? I appreciate you. Thanks for joining, man. Oh man, everybody joined. They can't shout you guys all out. Much love though. Much fucking love, my guys. Much love. All right, folks. I will be wrapping it up very shortly here. I'll just go on for 2 minutes. Talk to Maya real quick. We're in Canada. I live in Manitoba. I'm in Ontario, Toronto, Ontario, born and raised. That's where I'm from. Yeah. How's Manitoba? All right. I'm going to be on here for another minute, and then I'm going to fly out and we'll be back again tomorrow with another episode. All right. So if you've got no questions and there's nothing else that you want to say to me, I'm going to fly out. But if there's something that you want to say, if you've got any questions, things of that sort, hit me on the hit. I'm going to answer your questions for the next 60 seconds. So as well charge this phone since. Okay. No questions? All right. People, guys, girls, things, whatever you identify as, I'm super grateful that you shared your time with me today. So hello, what are your pronouns? Asking for a friend. I'm a dude. I'm a guy. I don't like to make things complicated, and with all due respect, I'm not here to like be condescending or anything like that. But I personally don't. I'm just being honest. I don't partake in subjective things. It's more so objective things. But you can call me whatever the fuck you want. Call me Matt. Call me Schwarzenegger. Call me whatever the fuck you want. It doesn't matter to me. Honestly, I don't really care. Anyway, people, that is it. That is all. I appreciate you for giving me your time today. And if you want, you can tune in tomorrow, or you can watch the replay of today's episode on YouTube. And that's Matt Butale, MATT space BUTALE on YouTube if you want to check out any of the other episodes. This is the 42nd episode of this specific series. I've been podcasting and recording live streams for fucking years. And just because I rebranded it, I'm at episode number 40 something, but technically this is like a 200th and something episode. But check it out. I've got a whole bunch of other material on my page and on my YouTube and all that stuff. If you want to get some free information, it's all there for you to take. All right. I'm here to help. That's it. That's all. Love y'all. Talk to you tomorrow. Cheers.